Good morning, everyone. It's 9:20 a.m. here in Kentucky. Boo Boo just recording. Sorry, she's half awake. I found an article that was kind of interesting in Kentucky Living magazine. Kind of deals with alternative history, which is something I find interesting. Um, Archaeology and stuff like that, but alternative viewpoints of it. I mean, I think honestly there's definitely some conspiracy behind mainstream archaeology, especially in like Egypt and stuff. And you have these people, alternative archaeologists, I guess is what the term would be, kind of counteracting that with their own theories and speculations. People like Graham Hancock and stuff like that, you know. Um, but this kind of deals with a conspiracy that I came across probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Um, Pretty much, I'd come across it. It was the first time I came across any type of something kind of like this, similar to this, was coming across a conspiracy that the Grand Canyon was inhabited by ancient Egyptians. I know that's kind of a crazy thing to just drop out there, but look into it, they found supposedly they found a cave out there, and when they went inside, there was all sorts of different items and stuff that was either from ancient Egypt, or I think some of it was other parts of the world too. Like there was some Hebrew stuff in there, some Buddhist statues, just a bunch of crazy collection of different things from ancient times of different parts of the world. Um, and I may be wrong, but as far as I know, that the Smithsonian came in and covered it up, which wouldn't be the first time the Smithsonian came in and covered something up. Turns out the guy who discovered it um, went back to like kind of visit or whatever throughout the years and stuff, and stated that the cave was closed up, that there was like, they closed it up, I guess, with wood and stuff, and put a barrier around it, do not enter, don't look here, nothing to see here, move along. So I don't know, I think there's some substance to that. I mean, what was it, back in the 90s, it came out, I think it was the 90s, that um, in Boston, there was a big Viking ship in one of the Boston Harbor, I believe. There's a big Viking ship protesting pretty much the history books and what's being taught in school, that, hey, Leif Erikson discovered America, not, you know, Christopher Columbus. I think it's sad that Christopher Columbus in general is glorified. I mean, if you actually read the actual history of what he did when he came over here, I mean, he was a murdering rapist, POS, honestly. But, yeah, so we'll go ahead and I'll read this article real quick and let me know what you guys think. And actually, we looked this up, and this is not far from here. It's actually in Kentucky, I believe. Um, it has the location and stuff little described a little better in here. So me and Sammy actually might get a little money saved up and make a day trip and head out there and film it. Um, we do little day trips here and there. We try to film it for you all so y'all can see, like Witch's Castle. We did a day trip to Serpent Mound, but we did not record it, which I wish we would have, honestly. But we were just honestly so stoked to be there. We took probably like 100 pictures there, which hit us up in the comments and let us know, if you guys want to see maybe a slideshow of all the different photos we got from Serpent's Mound. That place is definitely, it felt like a pilgrimage going to. It was like I don't know, it's a very mystical place. But this article is the Red Bird Stone. It's got a subtitle, Researchers Disagree on Origins of Stone's Inscriptions, written by Byron Crawford. And this is the latest issue, March 2020 issue of Kentucky Living. Well, I'll go ahead and start it for you. Hidden among the cliffs, rock shelters, and caves of Kentucky are mysterious chapters of lost history, chiseled in stone. The Birdstone, a boulder estimated to weigh 25 tons or more, is among the most visible examples. It tumbled from a sandstone cliff near the Redbird River on State Route 66 in Clay County in 1994, and now rests under an open-air shelter in a city park of Manchester, the Clay County seat. See, we'd actually, I think, drove past Manchester. I think I've seen the sign and stuff, so it's probably like a 2-3 hour drive. Easy to get to from where we're at. So we could definitely, in the future, make a video on this and let you guys see a little visual tour of it, you know. On its face are many markings or petroglyphs, believed to have been left by ancient visitors whose origins continue to puzzle researchers. Archaeologists from the University of Kentucky and University of Tennessee are generally in agreement that the inscriptions, consisting largely of linear grooves, appear to be ancient Native American in origin. Still another theory by some is that the markings were the work of later native tribes during the period when the Cherokee, Shawnee, and others are known to have had a presence in the region. However, Jan Simic, University of Tennessee archaeologist who has studied numerous Cherokee sites, doesn't believe the Red Birdstone petroglyphs were left by Cherokee or other tribes. And Simic further dismisses theories that the inscriptions on the Red Birdstone and strange markings at the other sites around the region were the work of ancient explorers who ventured across the Atlantic before Columbus. So, there we go. There's that little rant at the beginning that I went on about Columbus, you know. I just wish that was more mainstream. I mean, I don't know, I'd have to talk to a younger person who's in school now and see if they still teach Columbus discovered America, because I was born in 91. I think my kindergarten years when we learned about the discovering of America, quote unquote. It's not really been discovered. There was already people here. We learned Columbus, you know, the whole story of Columbus. I think that was like either 95 or 96. I'm not positive on that. But James Burchell of Clay County Historical Society, who came along with former Clay County Judge Executive James Garrison, is credited with saving the Redbird Stone from destruction. Insists that the stone contains several Old World scripts, including ancient Hebrew and Greek. Burchell, a member of Jackson Energy Cooperative, had been familiar with the markings most of his life and had always assumed they were Native American, but 2 years before the 18-foot-long boulder dropped from the cliff, he sent detailed photos and descriptions of its markings to Barry Fell of Harvard University, an internationally prominent invertebrate zoologist, renowned epigrapher, and author on ancient life in America. Burchell has a letter from Fell verifying Old World inscriptions on the Redbird Stone, accompanied by ancient alphabet matching some of the cryptic carvings. Fell, who died in 1994, was widely criticized by professional archaeologists and anthropologists who complained that his research failed to meet their standards. So that always cracks me up, man. And it's kind of sad that there is that type of stuff going on in archaeology, you know. anything that goes against the mainstream thought. It seems like that's with any field, though, archaeology, science, anything. If there's one guy kind of going against the tide of things and saying, "Well, that don't seem right," or who has a differing opinion, it's like shut him down. I mean, you see that a lot in Egyptology. What is it? Zahi Hawass hates Graham Hancock. Because Zahi Hawass has this whole Egypt is only, I think it's like 3,000 or 4,000 or 5 or 6,000. He sets Egypt's timeline in a very specific area. And Graham Hancock's like, nah, dude, we're discovering, the Sphinx is older than you guys have been saying it is. There's watermarks saying that it was halfway underwater at one point in time during the Great Deluge. Zahi hates him, man. There's videos you could look up of him just going off and screaming at him and shit. But yeah, I just always think that's funny as soon as someone starts bringing up, oh, these carvings on this stone are Greek and Hebrew, which I'll put an image of what the stone looks like. Yeah, they get shut down real quick. They don't want to rewrite all the history books, and I don't know. I think that's very fishy. I think honestly that's another reason why Columbus was preached so much in school and stuff is if you look up, there's actually a lot of connections that he was either into Freemasonry or Knights Templar, which a lot of people would say are the same thing. The Freemasonry came from Knights Templar. Um, Sadly, I believe those people control the world's narrative. I mean, heck, even look at the mast of the ships that Columbus sailed in on is gigantic Templar crosses. So I definitely think there's something fishy there going on. But he gained immense public popularity during the 1970s and 80s with his first book, America BC, and two sequels. He theorized that Celts, Egyptians, Phoenicians, and other world explorers found their way to North America untold centuries before Columbus. That's pretty epic. Which actually, if I could find a copy of those two books, or those three books, it looks like, I would definitely purchase those. America BC is the first one. But he theorized that Celts, which would be the ancient Irish, you know, ancient Irish, ancient Scottish, Egyptians, Phoenicians, which Phoenicians is the ancient Jews, and yeah, came to America. That's insane to me. That's mind blowing. Um, which there's been evidence, that there's been evidence here and there of other groups of people coming here. That even kind of gets into the whole Atlantis theory of, the Azores, that there was an island in between in the Atlantic Ocean. There's a big book that I read on Atlantis. I think it's called Atlantis and the Antediluvian World, written by Ignatius Donnelly, however you want to pronounce it. Check that out. That gets deep, and it gets into everything like flood myths from all over the world. Dabbles into Freemasonry a little bit because Ignatius Donnelly was one. Gets into the Azores. Um, Heck, and even Atlantis actually ties in a lot with Bermuda Triangle because the Azores are the tip of Bermuda Triangle, the very top tip, I believe. Everything's tied together. The deeper you go down one rabbit hole, whatever rabbit hole you've been down before, you're liable to turn a corner and run into that rabbit hole also. I mean, everything connects. And the more you research different conspiracies or um, alternative history or just ancient history and stuff like that in general, everything is connected. It's insane. Um, let's see, where am I at? Yeah. When deciphered, many of the mysterious marks on the rocks, such as the red birdstone, provide solid evidence of their presence. Burchell is convinced that some of those ancient explorers, following rivers and streams from the Gulf to the Great Lakes, stopped to leave what they hoped would be a lasting record of their passing, etched among the cliffs and caves, and on the giant boulder that we now call Redbird Stone. That's the end of the article. Let us know in the comments if you want us to make that Serpent Mound slideshow video. Maybe we'll edit it and stuff. Just I want to see how many people actually want to see it before we sit down and edit it all and do all that, because that takes time, definitely. We do plan on having another podcast come out, me and Sammy, on crypto creatures, I guess, cryptozoology, just in general. I thought it would be fun, maybe like an hour-long podcast, something like that. Give you guys something to listen to while you're working or cleaning house or whatever. We're trying to move more in that direction, slowly but surely. But let me know in the comments what you think. I figured I'd put this out there. I thought it was interesting. And me and Sammy plan on making a day trip. Yesterday I put out a video and told you all that I had a job interview for 2 different jobs, actually. I ended up getting called later that day. So 2 job interviews yesterday, and hopefully I get the second one. I'll be back bartending again and bringing home some bacon. I ain't gonna lie, I miss bartending. That's where the money was. I was more stable bartending too, like financially, I was telling my wife, I said, sadly, I was making enough to where I could, not that I would leave her or nothing, but I was able to support me and my child. I had a car, I had an apartment, I was buying my own food, wasn't on food stamps. I mean, so you can make money bartending, definitely. You can live off of it. And that's where I want to get again, definitely. That, and if I get this bartending job, I can make more money. We can do little day trips more often and put more videos out for you all. So, like and subscribe, and you all have a good day. Hit me up in the comments.